Start. Why don't we let Chris start for once? He's always
how about
shoved in
fucking
the back.
Chris shows us
Like-
that he can fucking do anything for this goddamn podcast for once in his life.
He's like, we give him this much time on the show. He's like the extra grocery bags you keep in your car just in case if you're going to need them. You know, and it's like, there's somewhere in the, I'm not sure. You know, I got to go look for them. So, Chris, this is your time to shine. Get out there and we're going to put some produce in you, buddy.
Let's go. The extra grocery bag is here. I think we've already started. All right, we're
That's
doing
a great nickname.
the extra grocery bag. It's a good nickname. We're doing the most overrated movies in our estimation of all time, including classics, Oscar winners, and popular movies. So I'm going to start us off with a bang.
Okay.
This movie is widely considered maybe one of the best movies of all time. If you talk to like cinema files, they'll talk about, so many good shots and things.
Wait, before you say what it is, what decade?
70s.
Okay, can I make one guess? Just based on that, I got one guess immediately. Is it
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now?
No.
Okay, I'm out. All right. Chris, the kind of
Grant,
guy who
one
would
guess.
hate Apocalypse
No,
Now.
I mean,
Sorry,
my
go
only
ahead.
guess is The Godfather.
That's crazy.
Nope, it's not
It
The Godfather.
insists upon itself. Go ahead, Chris.
All right. My movie is Chinatown. I think that movie is a plotting, meandering mess. And I think that if it was about the steel industry rather than the film industry, that it would have just been forgotten forever. But because it's about Hollywood, everyone in Hollywood's like, oh, this is the best movie ever made. Look, it's so many good. It's so good. Look at all these shots. Blah, blah, blah. And it is terrible. It is a terrible movie that deserves to be called out. That is my take.
I don't have a take. I haven't seen the movie. So, Jonathan.
All right.
All right, I've seen the movie. I don't agree with you that it is terrible, but I certainly don't think it's like I saw it once many years ago and never have considered seeing it again. Like, and I rewatch movies that I think are excellent, like many times even. You know, I've seen many movies 5 times plus because I think they're so good and I get more out of each watching and all that. Never considered Chinatown. Chinatown does have something that makes it hard for it to be in consideration for me for this, and it's a truly transcendent scene, which it has at the very end. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
In the car where she's slapping him, he's slapping her, he's slapping her, right?
He's slapping her, yeah.
But that is a transcendent scene, and so it's harder, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's harder for a movie to be like most overrated if it has something that I can still remember pretty clearly and made an impact on me all these years later. And I think not just me, but the public and culture at large. So that's my slight pushback, but I certainly agree that it is overrated in that I don't know why people loved it so much, really. I guess at the time, is there a cultural component to it where we've moved on and so it doesn't have the impact that now that it had then? That can happen.
But I do think Hollywood loves to love itself. And I get kind of tired about that. Like La La Land, I think it's not on my list, but that's another movie that I would be a candidate for like most overrated. It's just not a good movie.
I mean, on the same thing, this is not on any of my lists, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood certainly would be a consideration for the same reasons.
I almost put that in my list, but I didn't. So we
also has some
touched our list,
transcendent scenes, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. You're right for sure. But it's bad. It's a bad Tarantino, I would say.
It's got a chance. Is it the worst Tarantino? It might be the worst Tarantino.
It might be the worst.
I mean,
Yeah.
what else is even in consideration? Hateful Eight?
I mean, do we count the the vignette ones, like the with Kurt Russell? I forgot what it's called. Like,
Death Proof?
yeah, Death Proof.
That's a full movie. I think you count Death Proof.
Yeah, that was forgettable to me.
I love Death Proof, so I can't
would.
go with you on that one.
You would.
Stuntman Mike, come on, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Jonathan, it might be a cultural, and maybe Chris said this, I don't know. It might be that there is a cultural thing that at the time it was more revolutionary than we now see it through our lens. Like, I feel that way about Dog Day Afternoon. Like, I watched it once and I was like, why the fuck did I just watch Dog Day Afternoon? That was boring as shit. Is it because he's gay? And, like, that was revolutionary at the time? And that was, like, super cool to show a gay person as, like, the main person in a movie? Is that why? Like, because other than that, I don't know, because that's common now. That movie bored me. But it's not on my list. Not on my list.
Jeez, you guys are tough.
This is
Okay,
this
it
is
was
so. This
good,
is the thing
but
about
anyway.
this. This
Yeah.
is going to be our most rage bait show that we've done for sure, because we're talking about things that are overrated, which means that it's rated well by somebody, and probably most of the audience likes a lot of the movies that we're going to say we don't like, and that's just
Yeah,
the
and
nature
we
of
aren't-
doing a show about overrated stuff. So I hope that the audience is enraged. That means we did our jobs, and if we enrage each other, that means we did our jobs even better, because we're more likely to engage in groupthink and think similarly to each other, just based on, having found each other for these things and having similar interests, and that's why we do this stuff together. But maybe we can truly induce some rage from the other people. I doubt it. I think we're probably going to agree on a lot of stuff, but I bet we will enrage the audience.
I think there's going to be at least a little bit of strong disagreement amongst each other too. I think it's just the nature of these things, but I think there's going to be more agreement than there are if we just got three random dudes who like watching movies in a room, for sure. And this is based on our previous conversations. I mean, one movie on my list, I'm almost sure you both don't like, that is overrated and may have also made your list. Wouldn't be shocking to me. I almost didn't even include it because I was like, this is such an obvious pick. It's not even worth doing.
I mean, so our categories are popular and critically acclaimed. I assume Chris's just now was a critically acclaimed category. There's some that are both, and I think one of my boths is definitely on Jonathan's list and maybe on Chris's. I don't know. Chris could go either way on it. So do we want to start with popular, critically acclaimed, or do like the big major boths? Because the boths are the most rage baity ones, I think.
Let's jump in, man.
Yeah.
You go, Grant. Let's rage some bait.
All right, let's do both. Let's do the one that I think Jonathan is going to have as well, and that's the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the boring.
Which
fucking,
one? I mean, are we
all
talking
of them?
all
I'm
three?
talking. I'm looking at it as a
all
single-
8 of them.
No, I'm not talking about the Hobbit
Okay.
and shit. I'm looking at it as a singular film. Like the trio of movies from the early 2000s that got so much critical acclaim and audience acclaim. Everybody fucking loves these movies. They really do. It's hard to find people who don't like these movies, but it's not like I don't like them, but I definitely think they're overrated. Like, the first one is just walking, right? They're just walking. That's the whole movie. They just walk.
They walk.
And then they act like everything's super important. And then there's a big mean guy who's all dark and he makes weird noises when he's around, and he's scary, and he has scary guys who are on horses. But it's like, I'm not really getting into this movie because it just feels like they're taking themselves too seriously, and it's really plotting and boring. And there's a lot of plot inconsistency too.
Okay, first of all, this is on. I made a list of 3 critically acclaimed and 3 popular movies. This is on my list of popular movies. This is not the movie I was referring to, shockingly enough. So this is some crossover here. I wrote just the Lord of the Rings series as well. I think the first movie is the worst of the 3. The first movie, to me, feels like it goes on forever. Has lots of little adventures that they go on that have no actual stakes or meaning. I mean, they have stakes that, oh no, they could die, but then they don't, and nothing else happens. There's nothing grown. There's nothing learned. Just, oh, we survived the tentacles from the lake. Let's move on now. And there's just a lot of that. It's like sort of endless, mindless questing for questing's sake. Like, again, trying to get somewhere ultimately, but it doesn't feel like it's meaningful or thwarted, or it's rarely are they even, is some other force trying to stop them. It's just nature. They're just walking in nature a lot. And I understand when, I was going to say C.S. Lewis, but he is not the person who wrote those books.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the books. It was like the idea of a fantasy world was like kind of brand new, and so he was sort of inventing this idea, and it was a big deal. And so these fantastical little adventures were a really big deal to people. But now, like, I don't care if the lake has tentacles, if there's nothing else going on, and there's no cost to fighting the lake with tentacles. It doesn't do anything. It's just a waste of 15 minutes. And that felt like, to me, the entire first movie was almost all that. I know LOTR people are very upset with us already.
Of course
I thought
they
the second
are.
movie was actually quite good. I really enjoyed The Two Towers.
I think the second movie is the best one, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think it's kind of a pretty awesome work. The third one won Best Picture.
Well,
The
that
Return
was
of
just
the
like
King.
a culmination win. You know, they just.
But that's some bullshit because, as we said, we don't even like the series. And the third one, while better than the first, ain't good and goes on forever also and has the 17 endings.
Yeah, the
for no
endings are
fucking
ridiculous.
reason. I don't care how many kids Samwise Gamgee has or whatever his name is.
I think part
Right.
of the problem for me is that this is not the case for many people, but for me, it makes it too easy to suspend my disbelief. Like in a lot of sci-fi and fantasy stuff, I get engaged and I'm able to like keep. Sorry, maybe it's the opposite, but it's easy to suspend my disbelief in a good sci-fi or fantasy movie that I really get engaged in. And I know using the word "good" is going to piss people off here. It feels like they come upon some elves and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Look at that fucking thing. That's supposed to be part of this movie and I'm supposed to take it seriously? Oh, it lives forever. Cool. Like, I don't care. Fucking boring. Like, no, the elves are here now. Maybe something will happen. No, the elves are like, you should walk more. We like walking too. Everybody, walk. This guy who has the shortest legs should walk the most. That's what we should do. Make him walk. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I've seen one of the biggest criticisms of this movie being that they have these giant eagles that show up at random times that can transport them wherever they want, but they never think to just take the eagle and fly over the big volcano and just end the whole thing right there.
You know, the Rings of Power, which is the Amazon series.
Oh, don't get me started on that shit.
I think they've done three seasons of now, and apparently they are making all 5. They've only done 2 still?
Yeah.
Okay. But apparently they are.
It feels like 3.
It's unbelievably expensive, and Amazon is not getting the kind of viewership they were hoping for, but I think they're committing to all 5 seasons anyway because they have the money and they don't want to be embarrassed or something. They don't want to cut it off. They don't want to piss off the diehard LOTR fans. But the first episode, which is the only episode I watched because it was so goddamn boring and bad, all they did was walk. Again, it's like it's like Force Awakens, you know, it doesn't copy, but it rhymes, you know, it rhymes. Like they just walk across the snow for the entire episode and really basically nothing else happens. And I was like, why are we here? What are we doing? I don't care about anything or anyone.
We're talking about
but
the
I'm saying
movies.
that they were copying this movie, but everyone loves this movie somehow. Anyway, you're right. It's the Peter Jackson, I guess I'm saying is an overrated director because I guess I'm not a big fan of Peter Jackson movies also.
I mean,
because I
this
can't
is
name a
magnum
Peter Jackson
opus
movie I'm a big fan of.
This is a magnum
What?
opus for him too. So this, like, if you're not a fan of this, you're probably not a fan of Peter Jackson movies. But like, along with the disbelief about the elves and like, oh, cool elves, it's like everything they do with the emotional tone of it just feels like a moment that people like post on the internet about, like, I got tears in my eyes when Aragorn was to be like, no one. You bow to no one, my friend, or whatever. I was like, give me a fucking break. That was just, come on. Like, the tone felt off. It was just like they're forced. It's like I'm watching an off-Broadway play that is not really well vetted, and it's like, it's going to go for 1 week, and then they're not going to show it anymore.
The best thing about the first movie, in my mind, is that if someone were to, like, take the ring, there's a chance that someone's going to betray you in your party because the ring is so seductive, right? And then maybe try and kill you. And I think that happens with Boromir, who I believe is played by Sean...
Ned Stark, yeah.
Ned Stark, right.
Yeah.
The guy who always dies. And, of course, he dies in this movie, too. But, like, that's interesting, but it's 3 hours and it barely happens. The second movie, I think, is the best because Gollum shows up. And Gollum is a fascinating, fun character who is sort of playing both sides, you know, whether he means to be or not. We don't know exactly how to feel about him. And he's a new dynamic that's really awesome. There's more to that movie, of course, than just Gollum. But Gollum is the really interesting part. And then, the third one just is like, let's go endless war. Let's just do
battle after battle after battle.
And let's do Afghanistan for the last 20 years, but we'll put it into a movie and we'll make it fantasy elements. It's just going to go on till I don't know what. I mean, my God.
The second one had the best pacing and had the best combination of story-driven stuff and battles, I think. And that, if they were all as good as that one, this wouldn't be on this list, right?
Agreed.
Jones, are you in agreement with us here, or
I'm in somewhat of agreement with you. I would actually pick the first. If you said which one was the best, I'd pick the first one. And somewhat to Jonathan's point about Chinatown, I think it does have the most memorable scene, the one that like still stands the test of time, and people are always, the "you shall not pass," and that is like a kind of an iconic scene in film history and whatever. So, like, I don't know, like I enjoyed the first movie. I remember like feeling like as it went on, it just felt like all it was battles, and the first movie felt like there was something more happening. Like they were like, you were meeting characters, and there was the Genesis story, and it was like you're kind of like figuring out what's happening, and like all the pieces are coming into play. Whereas the second and third movies just felt like, oh, okay, it's another battle. Oh, okay, here's another battle. Oh, and another one, and it never felt like they ever achieved any like stakes that I cared about. Like, oh, of course they're gonna win. You know, and it just was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I mostly agree, but I would probably, if you said which one was the best, I would say the first, because it was the one I was the most engaged in.
There's a point at the end of the second movie, and this is also true in the end of the second book. I actually read these 3 books to my eternal regret. But I read these 3 books back in the day, found them also really boring. I know that may piss people off too. But there's this great moment near the end of the second movie where they encounter this huge spider, and the spider gets Frodo and like puts him in a big web and like takes him up and carries him away. And I remember thinking as I was reading the book before I'd seen the second movie that, oh my God, Frodo might die here and Sam may take over and like have to carry the thing the rest of the way. And I was really excited about that possibility of like the shift, and suddenly stakes were involved. And then no, of course, Frodo's fine. Of course, everything just continues on as normal. These are just little digressions back to the actual thing that's happening. Nothing ever changes. They're still walking to fucking Mordor, and they're eventually going to drop the damn ring in the damn lava pit or whatever. The end. My God. Anyway.
All right. I think we should be done with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so we've pissed off cinephiles and probably the most rabid fan base on Earth. Jonathan, who are you going to piss off now?
Oh, I really have so many options. I got to tell you. All right, I'm going to stay popular because we just did a popular one, so I'll continue.
I counted
the popular
that as
one.
a both.
As a both?
They won an Oscar.
Okay,
that counts as critically acclaimed.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go to the other list. I'm gonna go critically acclaimed. I'm going to pick a movie that I don't know a lot of people would have. I don't know how you guys feel about this movie either. It's The King's Speech, which I think is wildly overrated. I saw that movie, very excited to see it. You know, Colin Firth is astounding. And Colin Firth was perfectly good in this movie, don't get me wrong. But Jeffrey Rush. But I remember, first of all, big problem number 1 with The King's Speech is the king can't speak publicly. That's his problem, right? They bring in Jeffrey Rush, and like the first 10 minutes of the movie, he shows up and he's like, hey, I'm going to show you that I know what I'm talking about. And he puts like headphones on the king and is like, read this. And the king reads the speech, and he does it basically perfectly. He gets through the speech without any stuttering, without any problems. I'm like, movie's over. And then they spend 2 more hours working on it. And I'm like, what do you mean working on it? We already know how to do this. Like, what do you mean? And it was very odd to me that like they basically solved the problem immediately and then acted like they have this huge problem they still have to solve. And I was confused by that the whole way and felt, again, the stakes were completely removed. I know it's a true story. I'm sure there's some version of this that happened that way. But holy shit, that made no sense to me. I also remember thinking, boy, they made it sound like it's a really big deal that this king makes a speech. But the movie did not do a good job presenting the case that there's a lot of stakes to this speech. And I was always like, but does he actually have to make this speech? Does it really matter? Is everything going to fall apart if the king doesn't make a great speech or even make the speech at all? Does anyone actually care if the king makes a speech? Really? Is he going to lose his power? Is England in trouble? I do not believe these are the case. So I didn't think there was any stakes to it, as well as it was a solved problem about 10 minutes in. I did not understand the point of this movie. I was very disappointed in it. I can't believe it won Best Picture, and I don't know why everyone else loved it so much, although almost everybody did.
I agree that it's overrated, but it doesn't reach this level for me. I think, sure, it has these problems. It's a series of enjoyable interactions between Jeffrey Rush and Colin Firth, and that it's not like unenjoyable. So I wouldn't put it there for me. I understand that it's not like it shouldn't have been in contention for an Oscar at all, probably, but I think it's like a fine movie without thinking about it too much. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. Like, I don't even remember that it won Best Picture, which is not a great sign for it as being, like, one of those great Best Picture movies. But there are movies that won Best Picture that pissed me off way more than this one.
Sure.
So, that I don't know. But yes, I agree. It is not as good as some people talk about it being, for sure.
All right. I think we should prioritize our most controversial ones if we can. So Jones, you got one?
I got one.
Okay.
I got two more, and they're both on the popular side. I don't know what you'll think of these. Let's start with what some people think is one of the great comedies of all time, and maybe you two both enjoy it. I think The Hangover is a not very good movie. I think it's reliant on shock value rather than comedy. There are probably I could probably name 20 better comedies from that same decade that I enjoyed more, that made me laugh more, that were smarter, that were I feel like it's a movie that does not hold up over time, and it's one of these that I think I don't know why people love it so much. I thought it was bad.
I agree that it does not hold up over time from like a cancellation perspective. There's some stuff in there that's like, you cannot do that anymore. I agree with you that it's not one of the best comedies of the era. That was maybe the greatest era of comedies, though. So it's difficult competition. That was the Apatow era, you know. I have a lot of comedies ahead of it from the same time, like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I think is my favorite comedy of all time, same era. But I thought it was enjoyable. I had a good time watching it. I thought it was like a fun little adventure, and I thought Galifianakis did a lot to add to it. You know, if it was super bro-y bullshit the whole time without that, I think that would have really graded over time. But Galifianakis was a good foil to that, and I think that worked pretty well. So I disagree that it's overrated. I think it is properly rated as a B-plus comedy.
I think it's properly rated as well. I don't think it's seen as an A-plus comedy or one of the best comedies of all time.
Okay.
I don't. I think it was the most successful comedy of all time at the box office, but that's different than best. It did very, very well. I think by the way, it's a immaculate screenplay. Like, that thing is so tightly done. It moves beat to beat about as well as a movie can move. It tells the story extremely well. I think there are funny moments. I don't think it's hysterical. I certainly agree with both of you guys. It wouldn't make my short list or any list of like top 20 or 30 best comedies of all time, but it's probably, you know, around 100 or something like that also for me. It's like there are funny moments. Galifianakis breaks out in that movie and is very funny. Mike Tyson does the thing where he punches Andy Bernard in the face, you know, at the, you know, In the Air Tonight drum solo. These are great moments. There are a lot of I think pretty great moments in that movie. I think it's just a fun, easy watch that for some reason struck a nerve. I don't really understand why it struck the nerve it did. I'll grant you that. Yeah. But to me, I wouldn't call it overrated at all. I think it's just like a pretty fun comedy that I haven't seen in a long time. But maybe you're right. Maybe I'd watch it now and be like, oh, it doesn't really hold up. But the way I think of it anyway is like it would be an easy watch once again. It'd be fun and light and breezy and just easy to follow and like takes you and you're never bored. You know, it sort of carries you all the way through. And even at the end, I still remember the very end when they go credits and they show you all the photos that was it Galifianakis took or whatever, or just photos of the trip or whatever on the Polaroid or whatever it was. It's great. It's like really funny and extra laughs. So I don't know. I think it's properly rated.
I think your estimation of how it's rated is different than mine, is probably where I'm coming from. Because I think if you asked a bunch of random people what are the 5 best comedies of all time, this would show up on a lot of lists.
Wow.
So maybe I'm just wrong about that. Maybe that pisses me off because I just feel like it does not belong on that list at all.
Fair. I agree. It shouldn't be in the 5 best comedies of all time. It's kind of a B movie, like the way it's the way it's made. It kind of, I think it knows that in itself, that it's not like taking itself very seriously, as it's not going to have any really dramatic moments that you really care about, like which some comedies try to bring you back to that, you know. So I don't know. So yeah, that's a controversial take, Jones. I think that counts.
You want my last one on the popular side?
Sure. Let's hear it.
Okay, this one, I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but there are maybe 100 better action movies than John Wick.
Oh, that's on my list.
Is it basically a terrible, boring, cringy, awful movie that has no plot and it's just mindless violence for no purpose? I hate it. I hate it so much.
We're on the same page.
All right, let's go.
They do a good job of baiting you into really hating the bad guys. I'll give them that. And they do a good, like what John Wick does well is making the bad guys just abhorrent. Like Theon Greyjoy fucking kills the John Wick's dog for no reason. That's bad. You shouldn't do that. Don't kill dogs. Little cute puppies. They do a really good job. I think this is probably part of why it's so popular is they do a really good job of making John Wick seem like a badass in a not obvious way. With like the way other people talk about him is how you know that he's a complete fucking badass and he's not even in his prime or whatever. But I agree with everything else that you said. I think the setup is good, but I think it's revenge porn. I think it's murder porn. And I think it's fucking boring once you get past. If you're not like, oh, how's he going to kill the next guy? Oh, how's he going to kill the next guy? Oh, is he going to stab him in the face with a knife? Oh, sweet, awesome. Like, if you're not into that, then it's just like he's just tearing through mindless bodyguards who we are supposed to not care about their families, I guess, again and again and again and again, just tearing them to shreds. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure it's good choreography for a fight or whatever. I don't care. It's boring. I agree. After the revenge is declared and we know what's going to happen, we definitely know what's going to happen. John Wick's going to kill the fuck out of everybody. It could have taken 5 minutes. Instead, they spend an hour and a half just murdering. And yeah, I agree completely with you. Overrated popular movie. Don't like it.
It's not on any of my lists. I did consider it a little bit. I just felt there were easier choices than John Wick. I watched the first movie and was unimpressed, so I'm with you guys. Like, we're all on the same page, basically, about this movie. I never bothered to watch any of the others because I was like, why would I? By the way, the idea that Theon Greyjoy is really the bad guy, I think John Wick is the bad guy. Like, John Wick, as you said, kills a lot of people who have kind of nothing to do with this shit. Sometimes the guys are just sort of standing around and happen to be working for the guy. They're like the driver. They get shot in the head for no fucking reason. Happens a lot. He is a fucking serial killer, is what that guy is. But way worse than that is the sin of there's no feeling to any of this. There's no emotion. There's no menace. It's not scary. It's not fun. It's not any. I guess it's fun for people who, like you said, are into the murder porn of it. But it just is like endless, on repeat video game violence is what it felt like to me. Even though I know it's sort of like accurate gun violence, which a lot of people like if you're into guns, maybe fair enough. But beyond that, like I don't care. You know, I want to feel something. And it was very hard to feel much of anything after a little bit of that movie. Like with the dog, the opening sequence, all really good. I don't mind him being angry. I don't mind him taking revenge. I don't mind him taking a while to take revenge. But instead, he takes a million little revenges, and we have to see them all. And it's just, yeah, what's another way I'm going to shoot someone now? And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So I have another both. So I have two boths, Lord of the Rings and this one. We've talked about this one before. It's not going to have the same fan base as Lord of the Rings. But the way people talk about this movie, and we have said this before, is Jonathan's nodding like he knows what I'm going to say. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once.
This is the one. This is the obvious one.
It won Best Picture, and everybody thinks it's great, and it's like a fun multiverse movie. It's not. It's just not fun. Like, I wanted it to be fun. I really wanted it to be fun because this is exactly the type of movie. If you told me the synopsis, I'd be like, cool. That sounds like something fresh, but also in my wheelhouse. It's going to be like a well-written multiverse movie that's not about superheroes. It's just supposed to be about like normal people in a multiverse and what does that look like and how wacky can it get? And it gets wacky, but it just doesn't do a good job like massaging the muscles for me. I don't get into it. Like, I don't care that there's like a universe where there are rocks with googly eyes. That's not interesting to me. I don't care about the hot dog fingers universe. And I never really cared about the characters either. I didn't care at all about the characters. I thought it was boring. I found the movie boring and this is a type of movie that I should never find boring.
This movie pretends to be a science fiction movie, but it's not, right? This movie is a mother-daughter relationship movie with the trappings of multiversal science fiction stuff. And so the goofiness plays to that audience, not to us who are more the actual multiverse audience, right? We're the guys who watch Coherence and are like, oh, God, I love that. I want to see more things like that. That hits me so right. I love this multiverse stuff. You can do so many interesting things with it. So many difficult questions come up. This movie's not interested in any of that. So all the stuff we love about the multiverse, this movie is so far away from because they're doing light comedy and mother-daughter relationship healing. And you're right. I did not come to this movie for that. Now, maybe if it was executed better,
Yeah.
But a lot of people would say it was executed perfectly. It won Best Picture, and people love this movie. So maybe we're just not the audience for it.
Maybe.
But I don't know. But I don't know how a movie about so many multiverses could be so boring and leave me so flat than this movie. It's so shocking to me that could be the case, especially that is universally loved and successful.
I saw this when it came to a streaming service, so I didn't see it in theaters. I didn't pay to rent it or anything. So by the time it got to me, I was like really excited because of the way people were talking about it. And within 40 minutes, I'm like, when is this going to be good? And by 80 minutes, I was like, when is this just going to fucking end? Like, I have to finish this out because people love this. Maybe there's an amazing scene at the end that fixes everything. But I was just waiting for it to end. It was one of those movies that I was just like, I don't know if I guess I should finish it, right? Like I should probably finish this movie, but I didn't want to.
I wonder if that, speaking of overrated, like I came to this movie the same way. Like I came to it maybe more excited than I've ever been to watch a movie. And I had heard so many good things, and I watched the preview, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be like the best movie that I've ever." And I wonder, I agree with everything that you've just said. I agree with everything. Like I kind of left that movie being like, "What? Why do people like this movie? I hated this." But is there some level of like expectation setting that you had going into that movie that set it up to fail, or do you think it just failed?
I think it just failed. I mean, like, I was not old enough to watch Fight Club when it came out. So I watched it in like 2003 or something. And I'd heard from everybody how great Fight Club was. And then I saw Fight Club and I was like, that was fucking awesome. So I don't think it's just that,
If I think about a movie that's out right now, Project Hail Mary, that has gotten unbelievable reviews. Everyone I know who saw it was going gaga over it. I went in having already read the book with pretty high expectations. I mean, I was worried about it after I saw the preview, but then I heard such unbelievable reviews, and everyone, I was like, this is going to be really good. And it lived up to everything I was thinking it was going to be, and that made it even better. It does make it a little harder to love a movie when you go in with high expectations, at least for me. But these are the most overrated movies of all time. So if they can't hit, like this movie won Best Picture, and most people saw it with really high expectations and loved it anyway. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is what I'm talking about, right? So what are you going to do? Like a great movie is a lot of people are going to see it with high expectations. That's just the deal. Like now when someone sees The Dark Knight, if it's their first time, they'll be hearing about, oh my God, dude, it's the best superhero movie of all time. It's the greatest villain ever on film, and then you watch it and you think, wow, that was the best depiction of the Joker and maybe any villain ever, Like that's just the only thing you can think when you see that, right? So I think if it executes, it's fine. It makes it a little harder, but so be it.
It's a good point. Project Hail Mary is a good example.
I still haven't seen Project Hail Mary, but I've read the book, so I'm not worried about spoilers. Just good to know that you guys liked it.
Delivered.
All right. I think it's your turn, Jonathan. Let's go controversial.
Okay.
As controversial as we can.
As controversial as I can. Okay. I mean, I got three that are all at least somewhat controversial. I'll go with this is an older one. But Return of the Jedi, I think, is clearly overrated. The third Star Wars movie of all time, I think clearly is significantly worse than the first two movies. I think the first movie is very engaging, very fun. The characters are fresh. The dialogue is fun. Everything crackles. The second movie is a much more meditative, deeper, philosophical movie. It ends in a dark place. It ends with one of the greatest reveal in movie history, as it turns out. All of this is working really for Return of the Jedi. And then Return of the Jedi, in my mind, is a movie designed to sell toys to children and basically regurgitate a lot of the first movie again, which then we see again happen later in another movie I actually quite love, which is Force Awakens. But we sort of go back to a lot of the same beats, more or less. We get things that don't really make sense if we just go with it. But like Luke sort of is half joining Vader, but half isn't. And the Emperor can't figure out what's really going on. Apparently doesn't get that Vader's going to betray him. Vader does successfully betray him. None of that should be able to happen. The Emperor is more powerful than all these guys. That's why he's the Emperor. But that isn't my problem. The problem is nobody fucking cares in this movie. Harrison Ford is sleepwalking through this fucking movie. The whole thing is just like, it's just a weird mishmash of things that are actually individually still all right. And I loved it as a kid when I was 13 and saw it in the movie theater. Yes, I am that old. But man, looking back, What the fuck? What the fuck? This is how we knew that George Lucas should not be in charge of the Star Wars franchise from here on out. Although it took us 3 more fucking movies to have to like prove that out. But my God, like take it away from him. It was rough.
I don't have as strong of feelings, but I agree. I think it's the 5th best Star Wars movie in my estimation, something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because the bottom 4 are like dog shit, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's a 6 for me. I don't know. 5 or 6.
You have 3 ahead of it, I'm guessing.
3 is the one I'm considering. I guess it
Yeah.
probably isn't better, but there's a lot of wonderful things about 3. So I'd at least consider it, but maybe. Yeah, I know. That's the worst thing about 3. And the 45-minute fight at the end. 45 minutes, they just keep going and going.
But they're just going back and forth, and it's like, I have the high ground, it's over. It's
I
like,
know.
you've been up and down the whole time. What are you talking about, man?
You both had the high ground so much. You were climbing things and fighting while you were climbing. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
Also, what's even going to happen? Anakin's just going to surrender, and because he has the high ground, is he going to give him his lightsaber, and now he's not dangerous anymore? Can he just choke him anytime he wants? What are we talking about? Can't he just lift himself up, levitate?
It can't be 3.
He's got the Force, man.
It can't be 3.
All right, fine. 3, you're right. There's some great, the opening, there's a lot of good stuff in there, but you're right. I'll grant you, 3 can't be better. All right. But it's because everything else below it is not as good, but it's a massive tier fall off to me between the 4 ahead of it anyway in this.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I agree with all of this. Yeah, Ewoks definitely were a sin, but there's a lot of other things in that movie that...
The fucking teeth were creepy on those things, man. What the hell? Why do they have normal human teeth?
They would take like a small rock and throw it at a stormtrooper who's wearing full armor and has a big machine gun and be like, oh!
Yeah,
the guy would fall over unconscious, and they take out a whole army like that.
Like a fucking pro wrestler who just got elbowed by John Cena.
What the fuck is this? It's like we're watching cartoons suddenly. Oh, infuriating. Very cute Ewoks, but infuriating.
Good one, Levy. Good one. All right, I think I'm going to go with... I have 2 critically acclaimed ones that I think are going to be pretty controversial, but I'll go with one because I feel more passionate about it. And it's not a movie. It's a director. I bet you know who it is, Levy. All Wes Anderson movies are bad. They're bad. All of them. The whole Wes Anderson thing is like, let me make a little cute set piece. And then it's almost like you can see Wes Anderson on the screen turning to the viewer and being like, aren't you amused? Look at what I've revealed to you. Look how they packed their luggage in little ways. Oh, there's a hairbrush and a toothbrush. Aren't you amused? Is everybody so amused by Wes Anderson's crazy mind? Oh, look at me. Like, fuck you, Wes Anderson. I'm bored. I'm not amused. Your movies are bad. I don't care about your characters. I get that they're all offbeat, like atypical, like neurodivergent people. I don't care. It's boring. I'm bored.
Neurodivergent.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're supposed to be, but they're not humans that you normally see. Like, what? They're just like, I'm gonna walk 14 paces, then I'm gonna look at a mountain. Oh, looking at a mountain, walk 14 paces back, and then we're gonna record how many paces I walked. Aren't you amused? Like, no thanks. Not interested.
Here's what I would say. I totally agree with you that I am like, I don't even bother. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to watch any of these. But if he just made one movie like this, like, I think it could have like stood up. Like, right, if he just makes Bottle Rocket or whatever, and like, it's kind of like this fun, quirky thing, but not. It's just like they're all the same now. It's just like, I'm gonna out quirk the last quirk, you know, and it gets so boring.
I would say I feel like I have to fight for 2 films in his filmography that probably don't deserve this treatment. I actually agree with you beyond that, completely 100%. But I think Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums deserve a little better than the treatment. Than
Rushmore is the least Are You Amused of them, I think.
Yeah. Agreed. It was like one of his very first movies, right? Yeah. His first or second movie, I think. So that may be why. But that is like a really charming, sweet, fun movie that I think works on its merits. And I think Tenenbaums is the one Wes Anderson film I can stomach that is quirky and out there, but also tells a story, and I care a little bit more about these characters than I do I'm with you. I don't really care about any of the other Wes Anderson characters. I haven't seen a Wes Anderson movie in ages because I fucking hate him too. I tried watching The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar on Netflix because he did all the Roald Dahl stuff, and I got through one of those, and I love the story of The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, having read it, and I like it. Hated it, awful. And he was doing interesting film techniques. It didn't matter. It was just bad. Even though I know people, there's an audience for this stuff, but we are not it.
I think have you guys seen the SNL skit with with Edward Norton doing the Wes Anderson movie? Yeah. It's like The Intruders or whatever. I don't know. It's a fantastic job of just showing what Wes Anderson movies are. You could watch that and be as amused as you would be watching all Wes Anderson's filmography for sure. It's perfect. Yeah. You got any more, Levy?
I do. All right, if I'm going to go for most controversial, this is a tough one because I actually don't hate this movie. Most of these movies I don't like. This movie I actually think is perfectly fine. However, Black Panther is wildly overrated. Wildly overrated. Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture, and no one thought that was crazy. Black Panther is made $1.3 billion somehow, when in my mind, I understand culturally that it was very relevant. We had a black superhero. It was done by a black director, Ryan Coogler, who is a very accomplished, excellent director who's done a lot of excellent work for sure. And they had essentially an all-black cast, give or take a Martin Freeman here and there. And they were doing, they were showcasing African culture, and that's all relevant. I get that, and that's fair. But that doesn't make the movie itself any more than a really dressed up Marvel movie, which is all it actually was. It was all the same beats we always get in a Marvel movie. In the end, the guy who's the hero fought the guy who's the bad guy, who have the same powers. They fight each other at the end like they always do in a Marvel movie. They have the exact same powers. It doesn't matter. And the good guy wins and the bad guy loses, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just all the same shit. And it's probably a little bit better done than your typical Marvel movie because Ryan Coogler was there. And so there was better stuff. Like Michael B. Jordan was a great villain, for sure. Great villain. At least until they had him do this weird turn where he went from being this sort of passionate guy about freedom and I think it was releasing or blocking off Wakanda from the world. And he turned it into this quest for his own personal power suddenly, which was very weird and off. But still a great villain. But the movie is thought to be maybe the best Marvel movie, and I just don't understand how this is the Marvel movie that was nominated for Best Picture. It doesn't really make sense to me. Not that I hate it. Again, I think it's watchable. I think it's all right. And again, for a Marvel movie, it's one of the better ones, but that doesn't make it good. It can't be nominated. And people thought it might win that year.
Well, I mean, there's cultural elements to the nomination, I would think, as well. It's a moment in time, and it was important for the reasons you said it was important. But I agree with you. As you know, one of my overrated movies is the entire Marvel universe. The Avengers in particular. The Avengers movies I think are very overrated, but all of the Marvel universe is overrated except for a couple movies that I think are good. And I don't need to expand on that. I just don't like them. I've talked about it lots of times. I think they're boring. I think you made a lot of good points. They mostly hit the same beats where the villain and the superhero have the same powers and they fight at the end and the good guy wins. And that's that. It's sometimes entertaining, but overrated.
We feel differently about these things. I certainly come to it from a different background where I care more about these things than you do, the Marvel universe. Yeah. That said, I think 60% of Marvel movies are bad. Don't get me wrong. But I think 40% are good, and you think 3 are good. So there's a clear difference there, and that's
the ones
fair.
that are good
that's fine.
Are Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I thought the second one was overrated, and Thor Ragnarok, and maybe there's one other one I can't remember.
You didn't even like Thor Ragnarok when we saw it. I remember we all came out of it, and our friend Jake was like, "I love that," and you're like, "Come on, man!" We were offended that Jake liked it. Yeah, I remember. We were in Reno. I remember it really well.
I've never been to Reno.
We were in Lake Tahoe, whatever. Come on.
I don't think you're right. I always liked Thor Ragnarok.
I'm definitely right. I'm not saying you hated it. I'm just saying you were offended that Jake really loved it.
I don't think that's true.
It's grown on you. I'm just saying it's grown on you.
No, I've always liked Ragnarok. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
You did.
You don't know me, man. I know me. I don't even remember seeing that. And you probably are thinking of somebody else. You're thinking of.
Do you really want me to?
Batiste. You're probably thinking of Batiste. Anyway, point being, I don't like Marvel movies. We don't need to expand on that. That's not what this is about. Can I quickly insert one that's I don't think that controversial, but fits in the same category of very popular, but it sucks, which is Avatar. Avatar just fucking sucks.
I mean, no one likes Avatar.
It's
really,
just
right?
Pocahontas. They just stole Pocahontas and made it more boring and invented a fucking thing called unobtainium. How could that be what you call it? The thing that you can't obtain very easily. How could you do that? How could you not come up with a better name? They had it in a spec script and never fixed it. It's so weird. Anyway, that movie sucks.
I agree.
I'm going to throw out two other movies. One that is popular and old. One that is critically acclaimed and newer that I think need to be at least mentioned. Here's the popular and old one that people are going to be, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. It's X-Men 2. The original X-Men, which many people say is the best X-Men. And I got to say, I do not know what the fuck you people are talking about. That movie is fine at best. Why do you think that's better than the first X-Men? It's not. It's clearly not. What are you fucking talking about? That's how I feel. I like that there's a Dark Phoenix thing at the end. It's cool that Phoenix dies, even though we all know she's coming back. But it's cool that she dies at the end. I agree. But that doesn't make the movie good. The movie is just meh. It's just a normal meh movie. The first one is the good one. All right. That's it for that. Feel free to react before I do the critically.
It's been too long since
right.
I've seen
Chris?
that for me to have a reaction.
Yeah, I don't remember it that well. But
All right.
I'll take your word for it and definitely believe you.
People act like it's like Spider-Man 2, the Dr. Octopus Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, which is an awesome movie. And at the time, people were like, holy shit, this movie's fucking great. And it was. But it's not the same. All right. The other movie I want to bring up, which no one ever talks about, except they like, that was one Best Picture also, is Argo. Ben Affleck directed.
I forgot that existed.
Perfectly fine movie, right? Like, not bad. But what the fuck, man? It won Best Picture? That movie? The movie that you forgot existed? Come the fuck on. That movie is like, all right, it's pretty good. It's like a good watch one time and never think about again movie. It's like a kind of an okay story. It should have been fucking nominated. How did it win? What world are we living in? We're in the multiverse. We're in the bad one.
I agree. What I remember about this movie, and I only saw it once near when it came out, so I don't remember it that well. But I remember thinking even during the movie, like, man, there's a lot of ticking clocks in this movie, and they always solve it right before the very end of the clock. Like, it's for an Oscar winner, that should be like a Die Hard movie, not like an Oscar winner movie where there's like 19 ticking clocks in a row, and they always get it at the last second. Like, come on, that's not realistic. Give me a fucking break.
The very end of the movie, I think it's literally three ticking clocks all happening at the same time, and all three of them in succession go at the very last second for them to pull the thing off. And I remember even then being like, what the hell is this shit? There's no way this happened like this. Why are you pretending? Can't be based on a true story. I mean, based. But like, come on. This is so dumb. Yeah, it's like insulting.
All right.
What's your most insulting Best Picture of all time?
Green Book.
Like the one that you think is arguably just can't be the Best Picture.
Green Book.
Is that yours, Argo?
No, Green Book for sure. I just don't even consider that overrated because nobody likes that movie.
Yeah, people didn't even think it was
good,
even though it was Best Picture. Okay. Yeah,
it's like 44% on Metacritic or something.
I got one that I think is worse. I know Green Book is sort of like maybe one that people hold up, but I think Birdman.
Oh, come on, that was fun.
It's so boring. Talk about having multiple endings. Could that thing ever fucking end? Oh my god.
Jones did it.
And it was up
finally
against
did it.
It was up against so many good movies that year, and it won Best Picture. Oh my god. That movie is just
nice job, Jones. That's one that I really like.
Well, we rip you into shreds. Look up and find out the other movies that it beat out for Best Picture, okay? That movie is a fucking technical marvel. It's an achievement. It's shot as a oneer. The whole movie.
Oh, good. Oh, it's one shot. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I want a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's also a great movie. It's fascinating. It's fun. It's interesting. It's emotional. It's Inarritu at its best, or right up there. It's crazy that you said that. All right, Grant, your turn.
I mean, I agree with everything you said. It was unique and different and not boring. So it kept me engaged despite its like novelty, and so that was enjoyable to me. And the performances were all great. It was fun.
Yeah. It was so good. It's really weird that you think that, because it was such an enjoy. I found it like so fun and interesting, and I was just into it the whole way.
I'm glad we finally got one where somebody has an actually controversial opinion among the three of us. That's good. I'm glad.
We're two.
Other Best Picture nominees that year were American Sniper,
No.
Boyhood,
No.
The Grand Budapest Hotel,
Wes Anderson.
No, obviously
Wes
not.
Anderson's, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash.
Whiplash.
Well, Whiplash.
There's the one.
I'll give you Whiplash.
Whiplash
I think-
should have beaten that, but still.
Whiplash, Boyhood, and Selma are all definitely better movies, and I think The Imitation Game and Theory of Everything are better just because I don't like Birdman.
Imitation Game is like fine.
Right, it's fine, but
It's fine.
it's not bad like Birdman is.
I mean, Theory of Everything is actually good. That's like I think that's a quality film for sure.
And
But-
Whiplash is fantastic. Oscar worthy.
Yeah, Whiplash is an all-timer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a true all-timer.
All right, I got one that I rewatched recently. It's an older movie, and it's a critically acclaimed movie, and people love this movie. And I thought I loved this movie. It's from a director that I really love, but it turns out I don't like it. I watched it 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know. It's Magnolia. Magnolia
Really?
by Paul Thomas Anderson, who made my favorite movie of all time, There Will Be Blood. That is my favorite movie of all time. I thought Magnolia was disjointed, and I know it's intentionally disjointed, but disjointed in a way that didn't work for me. And I was not engaged. I was bored. There were some good performances. Tom Cruise did a good job. Philip Seymour Hoffman, may he rest in peace, did a good job. But I just didn't find myself engaged with the movie. I was just like, cool, this is more. John C. Reilly did a good job as well. And it was an interesting story of a different look at a way a cop could be. And that was cool. But like, man, it just didn't hit for me. It was just, I was just like boiling water and watching the water boil. Like, I guess I'll have pasta soon. Like, I don't know. Pasta's not that great. Like, it just, the culmination was like, cool, there's frogs in the sky and smashing everything. And now everybody's connected because of the frogs in the sky. They helped us connect the characters. I get, like, it's supposed to be some sort of metaphor. I don't really care. Like, I was bored. It was bad. I was bored by the movie. And I really like Paul Thomas Anderson. So I was surprised upon rewatching it that I found it boring.
I would say Paul Thomas Anderson is pretty hit and miss for me, but I certainly really liked that movie. I've seen it multiple times. It's been a long time now, but that's a movie I've watched probably 4 or 5 times in my life and really admire a lot of the things in it. I've always thought it was a little overrated because people loved it so much, but I always still thought it was quite good and thought the Tom Cruise character was a fabulous arc and journey. I liked a lot of the characters. I liked when they all started singing Wise Up at the same time, even though it's sort of weird and supernatural even. It worked for me. I like the frog rain. I like when the kid holds up the sign that says this really happens as the frogs are raining down. I don't know. That all hit me right. Those are all risky choices. So I can understand why they wouldn't hit everybody. But I like the disjointedness. I like the sort of small tales all over the place. I liked when frickin'... Is it Philip Seymour Hoffman who says, like, this is the part of the movie where you help me? Or is it Tom Cruise who says that? Whoever it is. I don't know. A lot of it hit right for me. And there's an emotional heart to it that beats and works for me. So I'm not offended the way I was with fucking Chris. But I disagree.
I think I know you opened up exactly more articulately what is bad about the movie for me. And I think it's kind of some like screenwriter director inside baseball bullshit. If like it was an important cog in the step of Hollywood becoming what it has become and in movie making, and it did things that other movies hadn't done, but it was like masturbatory. It's like not the same way that Wes Anderson is like aren't you amused, but it's got a similar type of vibe. Like, this is an important Hollywood movie. This is where we should be going as auteurs. This is what we should be thinking about as auteurs, you know. And like, as an audience member who just wants to enjoy myself, I don't give a fuck.
But that's kind of his thing, right? Paul Thomas Anderson, like, when you say he's hit or miss, I think he's more miss than hit. When he hits. But like, man, Phantom Thread is bad. Man, The Master is bad. Man,
The Master is quite
those
bad.
movies, and those are all exactly what you're talking about. They're like these like movies that take themselves way too seriously. That are like, oh, this is high art and whatever, and it's just like, ugh, I just want to vomit all over the screen. It's so bad.
I think you're right. I think Paul Thomas Anderson is always trying to win first prize at film school, is what he's doing, and that's exactly what Magnolia is.
But maybe that's what you have to be able to make There Will Be Blood. You have to be a guy who's trying to win first
and
prize
I
all the time.
understand that, and so that's why I say it's an important cog, but I don't enjoy the cog. I don't want to look at the cog.
Right.
I just want the cog to be there.
But like that's fine. You don't have to watch the ones that don't hit for you. But like you get one battle after another. Also, like we do get some really awesome stuff along the way, and it's not all going to hit. Clearly, I don't disagree. I tried to watch Inherent Vice not long ago, even, and I was like, I just don't feel anything. I'm out pretty quickly. It was after I saw one battle after another, so I'm like, all right, I'm coming back in. I want to believe, and I was like, this is not singing for me in any way. And again, one battle after another, right away I'm engaged. Right away I care. I'm caught up in it. It matters to me, It's fun. It's interesting. Just not the case with a bunch of his films. So I disagree with you on Magnolia, but on the greater point, I completely agree with you guys. I actually disagree a little on Phantom Thread too. But still, The Master, my God. And by the way, Phantom Thread, certainly unbelievably slow. Didn't need to be as slow as it was. So I don't disagree entirely with that either. Like, he's a tough one, and he's doing things that are different. He's sort of making art for him, it feels like, more than for the audience mostly. And sometimes it's going to connect with the audience, and sometimes it isn't. It mostly connects with the critics. Like, most of his movies are nominated for Best Picture. Most of them get well reviewed. But as we're not exactly that highbrow over here, right? We're like, yeah, Return of the Jedi did suck, So for us, like, we need the ones that are going to connect a little bit, things that are made for us a little bit, or at least the few times when we align with him in terms of where he's at, where he's vibing with as he makes that current movie. Again, like one battle after another.
Yeah. All right. We've gone through all of mine. Does anybody have any others they want to mention?
All mine too.
I mean, I don't have any movies left. There's one TV show I'm sort of dying to talk about. So unless we're going to for sure do a TV one, I would mind bringing up TV show.
Go ahead. Let it loose.
All right. Prepare yourselves.
I know what it is.
You're going to be upset.
I know what it is.
The first season of Grant?
The Wire.
No. I mean, that would make the list, but no.
Oh, okay.
It's the first season of True Detective. That's right.
Oh.
I fucking said it. Season 1 of True Detective, I tried so hard to like that show. I watched every episode, even though I was bored through most of them. I didn't connect to the characters for the most part. Look, Alexandra Daddario has a breakout nude performance in that show for sure, and it really, I was pretty interested in that. But as an overall show, I never really felt like it was hitting very strongly for me. The stuff that they were doing, like the character of Rust, I know time is a flat circle. Apparently that means something to everyone else. I still don't really know what time is a flat circle means, but people fucking say it like it's deep. I don't know what that show really was. I thought it ended especially bad. I thought the last episode did not deliver on the promise. I kept saying, like, maybe it's going to end really, really strong and everything's going to come together. People love the show so much. Maybe. And then it went the other way. I don't think that would have done it for me, but it would have helped. But I thought it ended on such a thud. I know there's the big oneer in episode 3 where he's like in that 20-minute battle, the gunfight that people love. That's at least pretty good, sure, and exciting. There are other good scenes in the thing when he tells the woman she should kill herself. That's pretty incredible. Rust is an interesting character. Their relationship is at least a little bit interesting. There's like time differences in the show, which they're exploring, which is interesting too. But overall, that show is considered, like, that first season, like one of the great achievements in TV history. And it is so far away from that for me. Like, I basically wish I never spent my time watching it. Like, I would rather have not watched it than watch it because it was so unnutritious for me and not fun. Like, I just didn't get anything from it. Again, except for that one or two memorable
It
scenes.
collapsed. It collapsed for me in the end. Like, I was actually more into it while I was watching it, but then they were building it felt like Lost to me all over again, where it's like they were building up something
that's pretty fucking strong
that I was really interested in, and then it just absolutely fell apart. That last episode is just a disaster for what they were trying to set up in that show. So yeah, I agree, it failed for me too, but I I was excited about where it was hopefully going, and then it just didn't ever get there.
Okay, well, I am not in agreement with Jonathan, but I definitely don't rate it as highly as the general public. I would say it is slightly overrated, but I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. That's how I feel about it. But you sparked something in me that I think we need to talk about real quick because it relates to previous episodes that we've done. And it's about ending poorly. And how we talked about the show Paradise and how good it is. And the show Paradise, fantastic show for the most part. End of season 2, the last 3 episodes or something are shit. Just complete shit. I think they're lost. They don't know where to go. I don't exactly know what's going on, but it's like the premise is great. They have a lot of directions they can go with it. They've executed it great up until now. And now all of a sudden I'm watching some CW show that sucks ass. Like, what happened? What happened to Paradise? What happened to this place that I once loved?
We had a show that we did about all the shows that we were excited about that were coming in January and February. Paradise was on that list. There were a bunch of shows. Shrinking was on that list. And they all their season 2 was coming. And except for The Pit, I'm not sure if any other show that like came back for a second season, although we didn't mention the St. Dennis Medical actually held up to season 1 perfectly fine and continued to be just as funny as it was. But all the other shows that you and I, Grant, especially, were really excited about. Actually, I would say I would put the Jury Duty sequel in this as well. I thought were just kind of not good. Like Paradise, I thought was good for a while. Like I agree with you. Like the first 5 episodes are excellent in their own ways. They're not really telling the story I was looking for, but still so good it was okay with me. I was willing to go with it anyway. And then they start just doing dumb shit. Protecting the character, people suddenly have plot armor, and people say things they would never say. They do things they would never do. It just stops being what up until that point had been powerful television, really well made. I rewatched season 1 just before season 2, and was blown away by how good it was. Like how well thought out it was, how well plotted it was. Things really pay off all the way through that. Like things happen in episode 2 that pay off in episode 7. They've clearly been thinking about it and setting it all up. That just is not the same case in season 2 at all. And I was very disappointed in that. Very, very disappointed.
I disagree with you about The Pit. I enjoyed The Pit season 2. I thought it was good.
Oh, no. I'm saying The Pit did hold up. The Pit completely held up.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that did. That and St. Dennis Medical are the only 2 that actually lived up to the promise of season 1. Everything else we talked about, I wish we could. There were like 5 or 6 shows that were returning that we were excited for, and almost all of them ended up being not very good, is what I'm saying.
Shrinking was not
except
very
for
good.
The Pit. Shrinking was a big disappointment. Jury Duty was a big disappointment.
I haven't seen Jury Duty, so I guess I won't. Because I loved season 1 of Jury Duty. That was a lot of fun.
This season, they have a guy who is not... I think it could have worked, but you need the right, guy who doesn't know what's going on, and they had the wrong guy. This guy, the guy in the first season is very sincere, right? So he's always saying almost what he's thinking. He's trying to be helpful. This guy is not sincere. He's saying what he thinks he's supposed to say to people. So you don't really get anything that's interesting ever. He's just saying, I got you, man. He's saying stuff like that a lot, but he doesn't mean it. And so it's just like you're not getting anything. And I don't understand why they thought this was a good idea to put it out. Now, maybe it's doing well. Maybe people like it. I don't know. But I was really disappointed in it.
That was too bad.
And wanted to like it so much. And I watched a bunch of it. I watched almost all of it because I was just hanging in there. And the characters aren't as good either. Like, the invented characters are, they're okay. But the first season, they were amazing. The kid who had like the chair, that he could just sit down. And I mean, that kid was incredible. Incredible.
James Marsden as himself.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Like one of the great ideas in the last several years in TV is to cast James Marsden as himself, and he nails it, right? That's just it's a very special series, that first season, and they could not hold up. And there's so much disappointment, but The Pit, I think, was as good or better season 2. The Pit was.
I think it was.
We were saying The Night of Seven Kingdoms. I was saying was maybe going to be unbeatable. And by the time The Pit ended, I was like, I think The Pit is better. I think The Pit is still better than Night of Seven Kingdoms. It's
the
that
Robbie
fucking
arc,
good.
The Robbie arc in season 2 is so fucking good.
I know, man. I could watch that show forever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rewatch it all at some point. If they're not
Yeah.
going to keep, I'm just going to keep rewatching it. It's just nothing else lives up to that show.
Yeah. So that's the conclusion of our Overrated Movies podcast. The Pit is a good show. I think we're probably done, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
I gotta chip away at the work. I got a bigger play to rehearse. I gotta live today like I'm in the race. Show the world I know my own worth. Heavyweight to burden, I persevere. Been persevering since birth. Fight for what we deserve until we reunite Mother Earth. We're rewriting the rule book, rewiring our brains. Deep dive in the framework, yeah, we can be the change. Future's ours to claim if we